for that.
We'll see thousands more cases, absolutely. Thanks, Tucker.
Oh, for sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, in Iran, the official death toll from coronavirus sits at 66, though most people think the true number is far higher than that. The disease has proven particularly bad there. Here's one reason why, possibly. Video from the city of Qom, the epicenter of the Iranian outbreak, shows Shia Muslim worshippers demonstrating their devotion by licking the tomb of a famous Islamic saint. Obviously a problem in the middle of an epidemic. Jason Rantz is a Seattle radio show host. Authorities say his state may have had a coronavirus outbreak quietly building for weeks. He joins us tonight. Jason, thanks so much for coming on. So why do you think your state has, I think all deaths, or at least the majority in our nation, have been in your state. Why do you think it's been so bad there?
Well, it's a little bit unclear. I think part of it has to do with we're a hub for travel, particularly from Asia.
Yes.
And that's probably behind some of this. But I think also we've got a potential problem growing with our homelessness crisis. I think when we hear about how easily the coronavirus will spread, we know specifically groups of people who can't do the hand sanitizer, taking showers, washing your hands multiple times a day. It's the homelessness issue, right? And so you've got two groups of people who potentially could make this a little bit worse. Number one, the homeless individuals who are sort of living deep out under freeway underpasses, up hills and brush that you don't necessarily see. Well, they might be suffering and no one's going to know that they need help. And then you've got the group of homeless individuals who maybe are getting sick but aren't showing any symptoms. Well, they're jumping on buses because they can ride for free. They're going to public restrooms. They're going into public libraries. And there's a possibility that they're spreading it at a higher than normal rate because they're not in the system, because they're not being quarantined, because they're not being checked with any regularity. Right. And I think that that's a problem.
So I'm not Marie Curie here, but you're saying that if you've got thousands of people defecating on the sidewalk, that could pose a public health risk?
I know. I'm not a doctor, but something tells me that that poses a potential issue. Now, what I think is kind of curious about this, at the same time that I'm addressing these issues, you and I are talking about it, you've got the Seattle City Council that's making it harder to clean up encampments, to get people into the system, to get people into shelter. They think that lacks compassion. Today, if you look, to spend 10 seconds on my Twitter feed, I'm getting called a fascist because I actually think that we should be putting people into shelter and actually getting them quarantined if they're sick. And if they're not sick, doesn't matter. I want to get them actual help, and I want to get them access to, running water.
In a lot of places, your city, sadly, the worst people have the most power. And it's sad.
Yeah.
Jason Rantz, thank you for our ongoing reports from Seattle. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Coronavirus remains a major concern, but for now, the stock market in this country seems a little more optimistic about the efforts to